Hello, are you here to debate?
Yes.
Okay. What's your name, age, and pronouns, please?
Bill, 34, and he, him.
Bill, 34, he, him. Bill, what topic on the board did you call in to debate about?
A little bit of theology, so I guess number 3.
All right, Bill. I love a good theist call. I know people on my channel are like, no more God calls. I'm enjoying them. Anyway, Bill, are you a Christian?
I am not. Now, I don't deny that there is a higher being, right? Like, surely there's got to be something. It just logically could make sense to me. But before we dive too deep, I do want to say, Jovan, I do appreciate everything that you do, man. I appreciate the channel that you have and just being able to open up and talk to other people. It's really cool.
You couldn't appreciate me enough to say my name right, Bill.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've just been watching your channel for like 2 days.
It's Jovan, by the way.
Oh, Jovan. All right.
Don't worry. I'm not legitimately about it.
All right. I'll go ahead and hang up. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, so what are your thoughts on this? So you say that the Christian God is evil and not real. So, like, do you have a theology? Do you follow anything?
I'm an atheist. If the Christian God is real, then he is evil. If the Christian God is not real, then he's not real.
Okay. And so which one would you like to start with? I'm okay with both.
Well, okay, so the thing is, if you don't believe in those things, we don't have much to talk about. Like, if you don't believe that the Christian God is real,
I have enough knowledge to think that I could not convince you, but I don't know. I could play a devil's advocate, if you will.
Yeah, I just don't really like doing devil's advocate debates for 2 reasons. The biggest reason is it means that there are people who are trying to call in who do actually believe that don't get a chance to talk. And then the other is I just don't think the devil needs an advocate. I think there's plenty. I understand wanting to like test your arguments and stuff.
Well, okay. Can I clarify my position then?
Okay.
Is that I do, so although I'm not a diehard Christian, I do believe in Christianity, and its fullness. I may not follow all of the beliefs to a T, but I do have, like I said, I have enough knowledge to, and really that is just a hard point in my life where, I just stopped. For whatever reason, I just stopped. But I'm starting to lean back more into it.
Okay, so you do believe that the God of the Christian Bible is real?
Yes.
Okay, based on what?
Absolutely, but I mean, based on the Bible itself, there's plenty of counts in there of communication with a higher being that the Bible calls God. The Word itself is God. So I would say it's based off of the Bible.
Yeah, so I would just say the Bible is the claim, right? The Bible is making a claim. It is not the evidence. It's saying, the Bible is saying, hey, this thing happened. I claim that this thing happened. So now you'd have to provide evidence to prove that the thing the Bible is claiming actually happened. It can't just be the Bible said that this is true, okay, so it must be true.
Sure. So I was just listening to the conversation with, I'm sorry, I don't remember their name, but I was listening to the previous conversation, and talking about how a lot of these, like the trans individuals, how they internalize and say, like, this is how I feel, right? So one could definitely say, like, well, just because you say that's how you feel, and just because the Bible says that there is a God, right? Like that does not mean that it doesn't exist, right? Because it very much does exist. For trans people, we're acknowledging that. Right. I don't know if that makes sense.
Trans people aren't making an external claim about the universe. They're making an internal claim about the self. Christians would be making an external claim about the universe. So when you are making
Sure,
an
but
external claim about the universe, you have to provide more evidence than just I feel. When you're making an internal
right.
claim about yourself, I feel is like the only evidence because it's an internal claim.
Okay. How would you? So you're saying that the Bible itself just is word of mouth, that like it's not
Well,
really
it's the claim. The Bible is the claim.
evidence.
Yeah, the Bible is like I have as much evidence that the things in the Bible, the magic and mysticism in the Bible are real as I do that Harry Potter is real.
Okay. And that's a fair argument. But then, how do you explain, anything that has been? There's nothing that has actually disproven the Bible, right? So anything that has been found,
The
like
Bible disproves the
archaeology,
Bible.
anything like that, all of those things have. Say that again.
The Bible disproves the Bible. The Bible is rife with contradictions, especially around like people's accounts of when things have happened, how long things take to happen. The Bible is rife with these. So that those contradictions disprove each other. If two different people are writing in the Bible, giving historical accounts of one singular event, and they both give conflicting stories about that, who do I believe? Who do I believe in this instance? Person one or person two, or are they both wrong?
What's an example of that?
Oh, sure. Let me pull one up. Um, God, it's been a while since I've used this one, so I have to remember which one it is. Okay, so one of them is going to be the calling of the first disciples. So one of the accounts of this is that Jesus specifically calls Peter. He calls Peter and Andrew while Peter and Andrew are fishing. So he calls them to him while they're fishing. The problem is later this same event is described with Andrew first meeting Jesus, and then Andrew goes to Peter and then brings Peter to Jesus. Both of these are describing the exact same event. They're both told. One is Matthew, so Matthew describes it differently, and John describes it differently. So who do I believe? Do I believe Matthew or John? And then whoever I disbelieve, right? Why would I believe the rest of what that person is saying?
So I definitely hear the argument. So I think that you could definitely argue that no one person or no one story is going to be told by everybody the same, right? Like,
but it's not just that it's not just that they're telling the story differently. It's complete. Like, I would get it if they were like, oh, well, Peter and Andrew were fishing, and then John comes in and goes, no, Peter and Andrew were actually were farming. That's fine. But Matthew says Peter and Andrew were fishing when they both went to Jesus together. John says Andrew met Jesus alone first, and then Jesus sent him to go get Peter. These are two complete, it's not like small things. These are completely different versions of events.
Maybe they're two different events.
No, they're both the same event.
To know, right? Yeah, I don't think that I want to claim to know exactly this exact story. So I don't know everything about the Bible. Like I said, I know enough to get myself in trouble, I think. But there are, outside of the Bible itself, there are all kinds of archaeological finds that have actually proven the stories in the Bible. And obviously it's not going to prove every single thing, right? But you could look at the Dead Sea Scrolls that have proven numerous accounts of things that have happened, right? And those aren't even things that happened while Jesus was here. Those were things that had happened in the Old Testament, right? And those were Those are found in 1947, talking about things in the Old Testament, just really verifying that the things that are in the Bible to be true, right?
Yeah, but
I
like
don't know.
it goes to show you that these people might have existed. I don't deny that these people might have existed. I don't deny
Mhm.
that. I don't deny that there probably was a guy named Jesus. There's probably a guy named Luke. There's probably a guy named Matthew. There's probably a guy named John. Probably a guy named Peter. Most likely even a guy named Judas. I don't deny any of that. But we have to get into the fact that the Bible's not just claiming that these people existed, it's making mystic supernatural claims. It's claiming Jesus not only existed, but was the Son of God, even though there's zero evidence for this. It's not just claiming that Jesus existed, it's claiming he did perform miracles. Again, zero evidence for this. Is there evidence that he might have been real? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we could come to an agreement as far as like, everything that is included in the Bible. If let's just say that God does exist theoretically for yourself, how would you say that he is bad? I heard your slavery argument, and I'm interested if there's any other arguments that you have.
Well, yeah. So one, an all good being, like I said, an all good being would not allow for immoral things to happen. Second would be an all good being wouldn't force. So my favorite example, well, it's becoming my favorite example, is what God did with Pharaoh and Moses. So God said to Moses on the burning bush, Moses, you need to go free your people. I want the Israelite slaves freed from Egypt. I'm going to give you the power to do this. But what's going to happen is you're going to go. That was weird. You're going to go to Pharaoh and you're going to. Sorry, it looked like someone just walked behind me when I looked at my camera, and that just freaked me out. You're going to go to Pharaoh and ask to be set free, and I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart, so he says no. I don't think an all good God is going to say he wants to free his people, but then harden the heart of the guy that could have freed them. And then, as punishment for Pharaoh not releasing them, release plagues onto Egypt, one of which kills all of the firstborn children of all the firstborn children of was it children or boys? Either way, kills a bunch of firstborns because he hardened Pharaoh's heart. Pharaoh's heart wasn't hardened before. God specifically says, I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart. I don't think an all good being would do this.
Sure. So I understand the argument, but what was the reason that he said he was going to do that?
What reason would make it okay?
I mean, so he is trying to demonstrate his power because he at this point in the story, he has been denied by Pharaoh, meaning like Pharaoh has not like accepted that God exists, right? So to prove that he exists, he in this story, and I you nor I were there. This is just according to story, right? Like he is doing this to demonstrate his power.
How does that make sense? Like, how does him doing it to demonstrate his power make it okay? It's heavily implied Pharaoh would have let Moses and the Israelites go had his heart not been hardened. Because if God didn't need to harden his heart, he wouldn't have. God knows all and sees all. So God would have no reason to harden his heart if Pharaoh's heart was already hardened. And if Pharaoh was already going to let them go, God would have had no reason to harden his heart. Right?
I don't think that God said that he was, or I don't think it was implied, rather, that he was.
Why else would he harden his heart if his heart was already hard?
I think I have a good answer for that.
LOL.
And that was when mankind was created, right? In Genesis, he gives us that free will, right? And so
except
God did not want to give him the opportunity.
Wait, so God stripped Pharaoh of his free will and then punished the people of Egypt for his stripping the Pharaoh of his free will. Right. That makes it worse.
Well, maybe, but again, he's trying to prove that he is all powerful, right? Like he is all good and
The
he is all
burning
powerful.
bush, the burning bush wasn't enough to do that. He couldn't have done that any other way. He couldn't have, I don't know, sent, I don't know, a giant flying alien being to be like, hey guys, that God guy, super powerful. The only way he could think to do it was stripping the Pharaoh of his free will and then punishing the people of Egypt because he took the Pharaoh's free will away.
By demonstrating power, showing that I am real. Keep in mind, like in this time,
This doesn't sound like a
good
good being. This sounds like a being that I would genuinely be very afraid of and say, you are cruel. You're insatiably cruel.
I could understand.
Yeah, I just want to suggest,
honestly, I could understand both perspectives. Absolutely.
I feel like a really great way for God to prove that he's all powerful would have been to just ingrain the belief in him in human beings.
So he did at the very beginning. He did that exact thing with
why
Adam and
don't
Eve,
we have
right?
it? Yeah, but why don't we have
Say
it?
that again?
I don't believe in him.
Say that again?
Why don't we have it?
Why don't we have which part? Sorry.
Why is the belief in God not ingrained in me then?
Yeah, so in the beginning, God had created Adam and Eve, and it was simply Adam and Eve in his image, right? And so when Eve had eaten the forbidden fruit and gained the forbidden knowledge, right? Like that's when we were given that free will. That's when we were given the knowledge that we have. That's when all of this stuff happened. And I could see
So don't you find it
arguments being
interesting?
made.
I think that this gets actually helps our point. Isn't it interesting that once Adam and Eve ate the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, the belief in an all good God was no longer ingrained in us? We had the
It's not
freedom
that
to
it's
see him
not
differently, possibly
there.
clearly. Well, it's not. It's factually not. I do not have the belief in God ingrained in me. That is a fact.
Right.
Jovan doesn't either. That
Yeah.
is a fact. So it's not.
Right. So let's just to kind of like illustrate a little bit of my point, right? So when I'm not sure how old you guys are, honestly. Again, I've only been watching for a couple of days. However, when I was a child, the belief was that there is man and there is woman, and sure there are gays, but I'm not going to say the transgender didn't exist, right? But it wasn't as well known as it is today.
Gay people and transgender people. Not gays and
Why are
transgenders.
trans
Gay
people
people and
catching
transgender people.
strays in this
Say
conversation?
that again?
Bro, we're always. You said
Yeah,
the
no,
gays
I'm
and
not
the
saying that it didn't
transgenders.
exist.
Just
I'm saying
say
it wasn't
gay
as
and
widely
transgender
known,
people.
right? Like,
That's not what I'm telling you off for, bro. I'm telling you not to say the phrase gays or transgenders.
okay, how would you like me to address it?
Gay people and transgender people. I am not
Okay.
a transgender. I am a transgender person.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all. So I apologize for that. So when I grew up, the identity of transgender people it wasn't as big as it is today, right? And now we accept, right? Like we as a society, we are some are accepting, some are not. But as a society, we are choosing to accept that is a thing. And so that's like that free will portion, right? So like we have ignored that we didn't accept it before, or we haven't ignored it, right? But like I don't know if this is like making sense or not, but like it's something that can be unlearned, right? Like things can be learned and things can be unlearned. It's not necessarily that it wasn't ingrained in us. It just has
Well, no, but
given
then
us that
you're
free will.
ignoring what my point was. Sorry, you're ignoring what my point was. My point was the best way for an all-powerful God to prove that he exists is to permanently ingrain the belief in him, right? If we should all know, we should all just know that he exists. This should be something that is completely and utterly known. That would be, if he's going to mess around with different ways to prove his power, why would he not just do that?
And that's a fair argument. But there was a point in history where God had decided that he is no longer going to do that. And that's like, he's no longer going to.
But that doesn't make sense, because the Bible describes God as never changing. So why would he decide all of a sudden that he's now changed?
Where does it say that he's never changing?
Yeah, I'll pull it up. Malachi 3:6, for I am the Lord, I change not.
Yeah.
James 1:17, which says, the Father of lights, with whom there is no variableness, neither shadow of turning.
It doesn't actually impede on free will at all to know something. Like, if God was just like, okay, everybody's born knowing that I'm real, that's not an imposition on free will.
Right. Okay, so then I would pose this question, right? So if there were a sign, if God came down and gave everybody a sign, I am real, what would happen in society? Like, what do you think would happen? Do you think that society itself would just, okay, now we believe? Or do you think that we would call him a phony and say that this isn't real? This, like, you're...
Why does this
God
matter?
showed up
you're
tomorrow
ignoring what I'm saying,
and like showed me that he is a man who could fly and who can part the seas, I would instantly believe him. What do you mean?
But also, it doesn't matter, because what I'm saying is, why don't we just know? He could have designed human beings to, like, we have basic instincts, right? We have like biological instincts. We have one of the ones is like to suckle, right? That's like an instinct that we have from the moment we are fucking born. We could have ingrained in us the knowledge that God is real. We don't. He could do
because
that.
He gave you free will. He wants you to choose.
That's not an imposition. I'm sorry. Is the fact that I have a biological instinct to suckle when as an infant, right? Is that an imposition on free will? Is that biology imposing on my free will?
I don't understand the reference. I don't understand how that ties together.
Because what I am saying is, God could have created us. Part of the design of human beings could be, they know me. They are aware of me. But he didn't do that. That doesn't change free will. If I'm born with the knowledge of a fact, if I know a fact, that doesn't change my free will.
Right, but that is exactly what the Bible is for.
Oh my God, I got... Jovan, you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. I feel sometimes I'm genuinely like, am I not making any fucking sense?
It just seems like you have no defense of God removing free will. Talking to you, Bill.
It's all right. Say that one more time.
It just seems like you have no defense of God removing free will.
I mean, I do understand the perspective. I'm not saying that I don't, and that is something that a lot of Christians even that they fight with. So I don't want to discourage anybody that their belief is wrong, right? Like, I don't think that that's the intent of the Bible or what God wanted. He wanted you to have free will to be able to think and to choose Him. That's literally what the Bible says. That's what He wants. Okay. I definitely don't want to stick on this. Are you okay with moving to a different topic? Because I'm not sure that we're going to find common ground on this.
Well, it's not about finding common ground. It's that you're not able to provide a convincing counter argument. I'm not really worried about common ground. I want a counter argument.
But my counter argument is the Bible, and the fact that there are multiple archaeological finds that have proven stories to be factually correct.
Yes, no, but there haven't been any that have proven the magic to be real. None of that's been proven.
But there hasn't been any. Sure, but there hasn't been any that have disproven it either. And you're just simply saying, like,
yeah, I don't have to disprove your magic. You have to prove your magic. Yes, I don't have to disprove your magic. You have to prove that your magic is real. I don't have to disprove that your magic is real.
Okay, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, history. I'm not saying anything about the magic. I'm just saying that the stories in the Bible.
Yep, I've already said that I don't disagree that the people in the Bible might have been real. There might have been a dude named Jesus. Okay. All that might have been true. There is no evidence that this person named Jesus was the Son of God. There's no evidence that he performed miracles. There's no evidence that Moses parted the Red Sea. Actually, when we look at historical evidence, there seems to be like very little evidence that Israelites were slaves in Egypt to begin with at the time that the Bible claims they were. So like, yeah, like I don't deny that these people might have been real, but I do deny that any of the mysticism is real.
I'm sorry, did you finish your thought? I just want to make sure.
Yes, I did.
Okay, sorry. No, it sounded like it just like cut off or something, like I lost service. Yeah, I don't have a counter argument to it. I'm not going to say that this is a conceit or anything, or I do, but you're not accepting of the counter argument that.
No, you haven't made a counter argument, Bill. There isn't
one.
But
I have. The historical documents have literally proven that stories in the Bible have taken place.
Zero historical documents have proven that any of the mysticism in the Bible is real. Zero.
So it's zero. Only the mysticism.
This is not real at this
point. As I said, I believe that these people could have been real. I disbelieve that any of the mysticism is real because there's zero evidence for it. I don't deny that a person named Jesus existed.
All of that, the thing, like somebody should do that. So, take all of everything magical out of the Bible. What's left? That's no longer evidence for God.
I wonder how long that would be.
I'm not sure. It is just like 2 pages. I'd be interested in looking at that as well. Okay, so you also posted a question before. Can we actually move on to a different subject? Because, like I said, I don't think that there is going to be.
Well, we've been debating for 30 minutes now, give or take. So I do need to move on to the next person.
Okay. All right. Well, it was lovely talking to you. Honestly, I do appreciate your thoughts and output.
All right, no problem. What I'm showing here is if you cut out all the magic from the Bible, it'd be about the same length as War and Peace. So War and Peace, the Bible confirmed.
What's going on with my?
Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Please consider liking and subscribing for your daily dose of debates. I post new videos daily, so make sure to hit that notification button so you know when a new one drops. Also, shout out to my YouTube members. Membership starts at $2.99 and helps me to continue making content for all of you. Also, shout out to my Tier 4 members, Gib5500, Ovaltine, Sylvia Snow, Bamji, Kelsey K, Kelsey Dooley, Jake Gorshender, Marceline, Matthew Holloway, Kazim, Vampy, and Yemye. Thank you, members, for your support.